ultimate on-demand destination for the UK's best fan-led football podcasts.
Want authentic supporter insight on all things Bournemouth? Follow Up the Cherries in all departments on the Talksport Fan Network.
Club-dedicated content created by the fans, for the fans.
Search Talksport Fan Network.
We're back, Cherries fans, and welcome back to the Dean Court Social here on Up the Cherries in all departments. Do us a favour, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the bell button below. It helps this channel to grow. Also, big thank you to our two sponsors. Firstly, Touchpoint Telecoms at touchpointtelecoms.co.uk. For all your business telecoms needs, get in contact with Mark and the team. And also Dental on the Banks at dentalonthebanks.co.uk. If you need your teeth shiny and white, they are based on Haven Road in Camford Cliffs. And remember, we are the Talksport Fan Network AFC Bournemouth channel of choice. So there we go. You've come to the right place. So, of course, first game of the season, Mr. Matthew Harrison, excited?
Yeah, absolutely. Been itching for this to come round, and it's funny. I was just looking back at doing the graphic for this here in front of us, and when you look back, it was way back in May when we done the last one, and so yeah, good to be back doing these little match previews, which is nice. And obviously we're gonna have a few extra to do this year with Europe as well. So yeah, very much looking forward to the season starting. And very optimistic.
Yes. At the start of the summer, I wasn't too sure. Andoni Iraola, big hole, had been created. However, Marco Rosa seems to be really getting the team united. He seems to be giving certain players an extra chance. Bafode Diakite, for one example. So everybody seems to be in his plans or be able to work their way back into his plans, even if maybe they fell out of favour with Andoni. And he needs to do that, doesn't he? Because this season we're going to have more games, as you said, and it's going to be a long season for this group of lads, and they need to all be hitting the peak for us to go places.
Yeah, of course, it's going to be a tough challenge this season, isn't it? Obviously, managing and balancing, all these competitions we're going to be playing in, which is great. But he appears to be happy with the squad, and like you say, players have had the chance to sort of play themselves into his mind. Obviously, with him not being here last season, it's a fresh slate for everybody. A return from loan like Jefferson has done excellent in pre-season. That's one name there to mention who's been really good. But yeah, every player is playing for their place again, and with these extra games in Europe as well, it's going to be a real massive challenge. But look, you've got to be positive. I'm very positive for this game up against City, mainly because of the performance that I saw last week against Arsenal in the Community Shield. Watching that game, I thought, you know what, if we can, if they play like that and we take the game to them, we've got every chance of getting 3 points there. So, I mean, when you look at the squad itself, I think, with the new additions as well that have come in, yes, again, we've lost another, high-profile player in Marcus Senesi, but, obviously that was completely out of his hands. But look at Antonio Silva that's come in.
Yeah.
He's looking really good at the back, and not only that, the key thing with me with Senesi was that his forward play,
Yeah.
the way he put the balls forward, into Evan Nilsson a lot of the time, and we've seen Silva do that in the last pre-season friendly. So, if he can take that into the league, I think it's a little bit like Traffer in some respects. It's a little bit like for like. I think he's going to slot
Mm.
straight in there, as if Senesi's never gone kind of thing, if you know what I mean. So yeah, recruitment's been excellent again, and
Yes.
I think before the end of the window, I do think we'll see probably a couple of players go.
Hmm.
Be mainly due to game time, possibly that they could be promised. But yeah, the manager looks happy with the squad, and that's a good thing. And I think the squad's reacted really well to him. So I
Hmm.
think everybody's really happy. So the whole doom and gloom of the manager leaving at the end of last season. I think really this is I personally think this is going to be in some respects an even better season.
It seems like that succession planning has got it spot on. From what I've seen during pre-season, yes, we got beat by Mainz, but at the same time, I think that we've got succession planning in management, we've got succession planning in the players, we've got succession planning even with Matt Ritchie coming into the squad, or not on the squad, so to speak, but as part of the backroom team. So, in all honesty, I've got full faith that they will pull everything together. And again, I can't see it not being a good season. And you know what? We're playing City at just the right time. And Marco Rosa, with regards to his press conference, I quite like it. He's keeping his cards close to his chest. Of course, we've suffered a couple of injuries, but he's not saying who those injuries are. He's feels the squad. He's quite happy with the squad. He's in a good place still, and he's ready for the challenge that's ahead. Um, you know, he seems like he's full of confidence, and I think the players, from what I've seen, are really rubbing off on that as well. They're going to go for it, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you look at the game against City
Yeah,
are probably in a transition period. I think is very fair to
100%.
say. Losing Rodri is massive, absolutely massive.
Mm,
And, I think Maresca has got, I suppose, a bit of a rebuild there, hasn't he? Really, I know there
yes.
are an 18-year-old who played at the World Cup for Morocco.
Hmm.
That's out on the transfer show this week. So this, I don't think their business is done, but I think this is definitely a period of transition for City.
Yeah.
Um, you look at it; it's a very important game. His first Premier League game at home,
Yeah.
um, and they're facing Bournemouth. And I think, really, if I was Maresca, I wouldn't want to be facing Bournemouth, to be honest, because
Mm,
it's been quite free scoring throughout the friendlies, and hopefully we can take some of that form into that game. But yeah, I think you know both managers are getting their philosophy across to their teams, and I think maybe Marco's had a little bit of a better run on that. To be honest, out of these two managers, um, we'll see. But I
mm,
must, from what I saw against Arsenal, watching that game, um, City for me just didn't look like a City side really. So
mm.
I think we've got every chance in this game, to really get at City. And I know there's City. You can't write City off regardless. They've got world class players. I mean, Haaland. We all know what kind of opportunities
Yeah.
Haaland needs. Not a lot to score, does he really? I don't know. He hasn't got the greatest scoring record against us, which is probably a good thing. Um,
Yes.
but he scored loads of goals against other sides. So, I mean, yeah, he's a threat. Our good friend Semenyo, you know, world class on his day. So they have got players that can punish us, obviously, but I'm just really full of confidence on this one that we can go
Mm.
there and get something. And if we all wake up Monday morning with 3 points from the Etihad, I think we're all going to be very, very happy and ecstatic really with the start that we've made. Even a point at the Etihad would be a good start for this season.
Yeah.
Let's we've never got anything there, so but I'm just full of confidence for this one. I really am.
So am I. So am I. And when we played Manchester City at the end of last season, they were chasing after Arsenal. They were going for the title. They needed to win to keep in touch. And we basically handed Arsenal the league on a plate. So, yeah, Arsenal fans, if you are watching, we'll still take your thank yous. So, yeah, keep them coming, keep them coming. But in all honesty, I think that that was a much better Manchester City side than they've got this year. I think
Yeah,
it has weakened.
yeah,
But secondly, is Enzo Maresca the right man to take over from Pep Guardiola? I think the boots are so big to fill. It's like trying to take over Sir Alex Ferguson. It's like trying to take over Jurgen Klopp. I think that it's going to be really difficult for Enzo Maresca, and I hate to say it for him, but I don't think it's going to work. I actually, at
I,
this early stage, I know this is preempting. I can't see it working. I think that we've got a great chance.
yeah. I personally, I not a City fan, but when you're from an outsider's point of view looking in, I was a bit unsure of the appointment anyway. I think if I
Yeah,
was a City fan, I don't know. I don't think I'd have been overwhelmed by it. But I mean, yes, he does have history with City. Obviously, he worked
yes,
with Pep. But when you look
hmm
at his time at Leicester, if they hadn't have won so many games in that first um,
spot on.
part of the championship that year, they wouldn't have come up. And then you look at his time at Chelsea and how that come to an end. I don't know. It just doesn't fill me with confidence. I wouldn't doubt him as a coach.
Mm,
He's probably an excellent coach, but is he, the right man, for this job? At the end of the season, if
mm,
he's there with 3 trophies in his hand at the end of this season, obviously we're going to look very silly here. But just on the initial pre-season and the appointment, I don't know if he is right. But like you say, that could be the ideal timing for us to go in there and get something out of this game. I
mm,
mean, I know there's people saying some similar stuff about Rosa. Rosa's coming in with big shoes to fill after what Andoni achieved. But when you look at the appointment itself, in comparison to Maresca, I think that it's more of a like for like appointment.
yeah,
Um, in fairness, yes, slightly formation wise and slightly tactically different, but all in all, very similar football to what the side's been playing for the last sort of 3 years anyway. So
mm,
yeah, we'll see on that one. But yeah, I do agree that I do question the appointment.
yeah. I feel that Enzo Maresca's whenever he's riding the crest of a wave, whenever that he seems to go into clubs when they're riding the crest of a wave, or have a squad that is good enough to compete. Leicester City, for example, recently relegated, went in there, kind of steadied the ship, but like you say, you're spot on. It tailed off at the end. He got off to a great start, a little bit like Scott Parker did with us, really, where it did tail off towards the end of the season. And then at Chelsea, again, he was taking over from Pochettino. And of course, Pochettino didn't do a terrible job. Some Chelsea fans were quite disappointed that he went. And then, of course, Maresca's gone in there and he started very well with a very good squad, a squad that had the confidence, and then it started to tail off, and he didn't really know how to put it right. And I don't think he's got that at City. Now, I know that might sound mad because City on paper look like a quality side, but in all honesty, they're not what I would call the strongest team in the league anymore. They're like, Leicester, when they went down to the Championship, they had tons of quality. They, let's be honest, they won the Premier League, not so long beforehand. And then, of course, Chelsea seem to be, getting it together under Pochettino. And then again, it's Todd Boehly's made the decision and it's all being set up on a plate. I don't think this is. I think this is a bit of a rebuild. I think this is a bit of a difficult job. Yes, he's got quality there, but look at Spurs last season. They had quality. Could they connect it together? No, they couldn't. So I think it's a bit of a strange appointment. I think it's going to be very, very difficult for him. I wish him well after this game, but at the same time, I don't think it's going to work, in my honest opinion.
No, I couldn't agree more. But let's quickly have a look. Not have a look because I haven't done one for this one. But
Yes.
who would we start against City? And I think at the moment, obviously, he's not saying exactly who's fit, who's going to make it, who isn't. So it's a little bit tricky to know what players are available. But yeah, I mean, Petrovic would have to get the nod in goal.
Of course, yeah.
No, there's no doubt there. I know that we're in the market for a goalkeeper from Juve now, apparently, that I've read tonight.
Yes.
That Dylan from the Transfer Show sent me earlier on this evening. You cross the back four. I think for me, I'd like to see Sanchez start at right back, I think, even though I love Smithy. But I think this is the kind of game that we could chuck him in. The centre-back pairing picks themselves for me. I mean, James Hill, mainstay last season, formed a great partnership with Senesi.
Yeah.
I think he can do that with Silva. I think Silva has to come straight in for me.
Yeah.
And again, left back picks itself as well, doesn't it, in true fair? So that would be defensively. Now, I know there was 9 players listed as injured with knocks and other things. Groupie, obviously. But if both fit, I think Scott and Adams have to start, don't they, in that centre mid?
Yeah, 100%.
The attacking flanks, bit difficult, isn't it? I mean, I think for me, Tavernier goes in there. For me, obviously, Heian has to go in. Up top, Evan Nilsson. But who would you put alongside him?
Well, if fit, Justin Kluivert.
See, that's who I would go with.
Yeah.
Myself, personally. So obviously he does like the 2 up top, doesn't he?
Yes.
Jefferson? Would you give Jefferson a go?
Wow. Jefferson has been excellent during pre-season, which is... There was a lot of talk, about him going. Of course, his time at Preston was not a success at all. In all honesty, he's been knocked quite heavily. But let's look back a couple of years. He did it for Sheffield United. He is a talented youngster. He is still young. And I think maybe it needs to be under the right manager. And this is why sometimes a loan move isn't necessarily the best thing. A lot of, getting the best from a team is making sure that they can all play together, all link together. It's that chemistry. And it feels like Marco Rosa has got the chemistry, especially up top. And Evan Nilsson has been absolutely brilliant under Rosa. I think he's become a totally different animal. And I think that I think actually it's with the slight adjustment in the position, there's the actual support that he gets as well. So, yeah, I think I would go personally with Cliver and Never Nielsen, but if Jefferson gets a nod, it'll be interesting to see what he can do. And you never know, he might not be successful at Preston, but at the same time, he might be successful here alongside Evan Nielsen. So yeah, it either or, it'll be interesting to see. But I'm confident going into this game. But Matt, we do this every single game. It's always difficult first game of the season because we don't know how City are going to come back. Well, we do know how City are going to come back because at the end of the day, they didn't come back very well against Arsenal. And let's be fair, if they come back and play against like that against us, we should, beat them. We should beat them. In all honesty, if they come back fighting to their levels last year, it's going to be a tough game. But based on what you've seen from City, what you've seen from us in pre-season, I know that's not easy to do, but how do you think this is going to go?
Well, it's quite simple, really, because whatever we put into our pure predictions, we've got to now put in Court Social. So on my pure predictions, which I will just shout out, I am currently top of the league.
Yeah.
Bang on score prediction for the Arsenal game. But 2-1 Bournemouth. And I think, we could cause a bit of a spell out there. I'm just confident after watching that community shield. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How do they respond? Maresca will be looking for a reaction. But you know what? I think if we take the game to them, we can get something out of it. And like Rosa said in his press conference, it could be our time to win there. So why not? 2-1 Bournemouth. But you're going to have to tell us what you put in your predictions. So to make it fair.
Yeah. You might be top of the league. I'm not surprised by that. But what I am surprised about is that we've gone for the same bloody thing.
2-1.
2-1. Yeah, we haven't done that before. So there we go. I'm not betting against my own team. No way. I think it's going to be difficult. But at the same time, I think Enzo Maresca is going to be finding his feet. There's lots of changes at City. And I think that we're hitting them at just the right time. So, yeah, playing a team that are going through a transition period, first game of the season, is not necessarily the worst place, the time to play them. I seem to remember, I think it was Fulham and Liverpool, and Liverpool were going through that same transition period, and Fulham absolutely wiped the floor with them when they weren't expected to. And I think it was when Fulham had just been promoted, not the most recent time they'd just been promoted, but some time before that. So, yeah, I'm going to go with 2-1. And, 3 points for AFC Bournemouth. We won't be top of the league, unfortunately, because, we'd have to beat them 4-0 to do that after Arsenal won 3-0 tonight against Coventry. But, 2-1, I'll be happy with that. European places.
Cool.
Yeah. There we go. There we are. Let us know, though, in the comments below what you predict. Do get involved in pure predictions as well. All the details are in the description below of how to do that. And also, if you do want to order a new AFC Bournemouth shirt, and me and Matt aren't doing a very good job on this because at the end of the day, he's wearing an old shirt and I'm wearing a Panama shirt because I'm just carrying on my strange little collect international teams that, you've never really heard of before shirts. But yeah, if you want to order a proper AFC Bournemouth shirt, go down in the comments description below, and you can do that through one of the links. And there is also discount codes as well. So yes, by all means, give us a shout. But Matt, pleasure as always, and looking forward to this season. And yes, it's going to be busy, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, until the next time, up the cherries, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you again for joining us.